My name's Ann Hafner, and I'm a paramedic and the manager of Kildare Area Ambulance. Give you a little bit about rural ambulance services in North Dakota. There's 141 ambulance services, transporting ambulance services in North Dakota. And of the 141, 128 of them are rural ambulance services. In some parts of the state, the rural ambulance service is the only medical care that's available. Most of our state is medically underserved. You probably knew that already by federal standards. We've learned how to function with a lot of isolation, a long way from the hospital, with volunteer crew members. It's consistently getting harder and harder to continue functioning like that. COVID has added a whole different level of stress and anxiety to what we deal with every day. Statewide, and people are avoiding going to places where they're going to be exposed to COVID, as you know, like hospitals and clinics. And the ambulance requests are down. I talked to the state health department this afternoon, about 30% overall the state. Hey, it's good. People don't need ambulances so much. They're down. The problem with that is that most insurance companies only pay us if we actually take the patient to the hospital. So when we have 30% fewer 911 calls, we have 30% less reimbursement from insurance companies. So our calls are down, but if you're one of the people that actually calls us, you want us to be here. And if we can't be here because we don't have that revenue, then that's a real big problem. The people that do call 911, the severity of the calls is increased. Instead of them, they wait at home until they're really, really sick. So they're really stressful calls. As people have been isolating and the unemployment and the regular stressors, it's actually changed the calls that we take. We don't have so many, I fell off the porch and broke my arm. We have domestic violence. We have alcohol and drug-related calls. We have people who are assaulted. During the COVID crisis, during the first month of the crisis, we had two different assaults against ambulance crew members. Because of the stress that's been placed on the community. The community members are stressed and they're acting out. Since January, and I went back and pulled last year's budget, since January, from January 1st to June 1st, Kildare Ambulance has spent 5 times more on personal protective equipment, including gowns, masks, I'm sorry, not just personal protective equipment, consumables, patient consumables. So it would be the oxygen tubing we use, the IV supplies we use, the bandages we use, then adding in the N95 masks, the surgical masks, the gowns, the gloves, 5 times the budget that we spent last year. The suppliers we usually use are prioritizing to New York and Los Angeles and some of the bigger cities, and so things are back ordered. So then we have to go over and buy from people we don't have contracts with in order to get the personal protective equipment. So our expenses are much greater.
Wow.
Kildare is lucky in ambulance service, rural ambulance services, and we're an ambulance taxing district. So we provide the service that our taxpayers can afford and that they want to have. And we do extra things to supplement our income. We teach CPR to some of the industries. We do standbys for rodeos and football games and things to supplement our budget. And COVID has basically cut all that out too. We can't really have CPR classes for 30 people when we can't be within 6 feet of each other. I don't want it to sound like the ambulance services aren't making it, because we are, and we're going to keep doing what we need to do. We're going to keep taking care of our community because they're our families. But it's been really, really difficult making up the budget losses that we've lost from the extra expenses, from the employees we've had that are medically fragile themselves, and so they can't work on the service because they have to protect themselves. The people that don't have childcare. So we're working overtime and we're very stressed. We always look for funding sources. We're going to continue to research and do everything that we can, but money like the money that I believe is available through the CARES Act would go a long way for Kildare Ambulance and the other rural ambulance services in making up some of those huge losses and extra expenses we've had as a result of the crisis.
Excellent, excellent summary, and thanks for enlightening us a little bit more about what it's like to run an ambulance service.